Welcome to the Prog Talks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Prog Talks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to the Prog Talks. As you can see and hear, I'm not Uncle Prog Rune today. I'm Dario, and I'm very thankful to your main host, Uncle Prog Rune, and the producers Van and Matt for inviting me as a guest host. And I'm super excited to present to you Einar, the vocalist and keyboardist of Leprous, on the other end, walking with his phone in the Norwegian woods, I guess. Hi, Einar. Nice to hear you.
Hey, how are you? Nice to hear you. I'm sorry about the sound quality. It's just earpods don't have the greatest noise cancellation from the outside.
We will manage somehow. First and foremost, I wanted to congratulate you for reaching the 7th album with Aphelion that's going to be out on August 27th on Inside Out Music. And it's a big one. And, I remember seeing you in 2010 at Prog Power Europe with only your debut album, Tall Poppy Syndrome, out. And 12 years later, here we are. How do you feel about the new album? And did you think back then you would have made it this far, both in terms of success and in terms of songwriting progression?
When it comes to success, I find it very hard to measure myself because everyone has a different perspective on what success is. And to me, success becomes more and more about musical achievements rather than other types of achievements. When it comes to size of the band and everything, it becomes gradually less and less important to me. When I was younger, I was of course much more obsessed with these type of things, that hope that we can one time play a big venue like that and everything. But just like during my years, I've just realized that no matter how much we've grown or anything, it doesn't make me liking it anymore or less. It's just like the music is the main thing for me, and that's something that took me some years to realize properly. So yes, of course it feels nice, but our for us who has been kind of in this the whole time, and I guess it looks different when you see it from the outside, but for us it's been such a gradual, slow process, all of this, so we never felt like any sudden success happening to us or anything. That's kind of my view on this.
Yeah, you mentioned the steady growth, and I just, when I was looking at your discography now, I realized that you really steadily put out an album every 2 years, and this is the third album also in the same lineup. So
that's a record.
3 consecutive Leprous albums with the same lineup. That's a record. So I was asking myself, and I would like to ask you: is this kind of the secret ingredient why you kept improving so much over the last 3 albums, like improving on an already crazy high level, or just better and better?
Thank you. I think definitely, like once you have to play a huge amount of shows together with people that I play together with Baard, Toro, Robin, and Simen now, it's just like, and also quite many of them with Raphael, you get to know each other very well and play together in a different way than you do, because playing, like, for me, is not only about playing the right notes, and it's not just about playing tight and correct, because that's just, but once you play in a band for such a long time, you kind of grow together somehow, and you hear more a band than just 5 separate musicians playing things correctly, and I think that's been a very important part, of course, for us. Whether we improved or not, I guess it's a big discussion amongst fans anyway. But for ourselves, we at least went in a direction where we are very comfortable to be in, and that's kind of the main thing.
Yeah, 3 of the songs that are on Aphelion are already out. The first of those was, of course, Castaway Angels, that was released last year already. And initially, I thought that it was going to be another standalone single, like Golden Prayers. Was that the plan initially, or did you always plan to have it on the next album whenever it comes? When you released this Castaway Angels last year, I think it was around the recording of Castaway Angels that we did actually we just wrote and recorded that one last summer. So it's a relatively new song, much newer than several other songs on Aphelion. So we just planned to go in the studio, record something, and even properly together in the studio, and just release it relatively shortly after. And then we just see what happens. But I think it was around that time we started deciding that, okay, let's make an album out of this. But we already had several other songs, so it was never a plan that it would be a standalone, but maybe that it would be a part of an EP, for example. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then in the end, you ended up with enough songs to make a full-length album out of it. Yeah, we just wrote one by one, actually. So that's how it happened. Like, some of the songs we had already, already back from the Pitfalls recordings. 2 of the songs. 2 other songs we had just parts of it that we later on changed a lot and threw away most of the songs and made new sections out of it based on the drums, etc. And then we recorded Castaway Angels as a kind of a standalone thing. And then so it was just very much a gradual process. And from there on, when we decided to make an album out of it, we just did song by song. We typically did one song, recorded it, and composed, recorded, and then next song, composed, recorded. So it was very different from what we've done before, where we kind of finished all the compositions and then we went in the studio, which is more like the typical way of doing it. So it was very much a song by song type of thing. And the reason we also did it was that we wanted to leave some creativity for the actual studio, because it's usually a quite inspiring place to be. So maybe the studio would trigger more creativity in us than what we got at home, for example. Yeah, and you even invited the fans to be virtually in the studio with you and also take some decisions. Well, we're going to talk about that song in a bit. First, I wanted to quote you from the press text that you said you think this is your most varied album to date. I would agree with that. Excluding Bilateral, but you also said that
that's more the most schizophrenic album.
Okay, but you also said that the approach to this album was relatively intuitive, and I had the pleasure to listen to Aphelion a couple of times already the last days, and I have to say the arrangements, I think they're so delicate and broad and wonderful and so intricate that I find it hard to believe that they're intuitive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you so much. But just you cannot always hear how long a song took to make. Some songs were
like if I say, like, for example, on Pitfalls, just to compare two songs, you have Observe the Train, and then you have The Sky is Red. And I spent much more time making Observe the Train than I did The Sky is Red, for example. So it's not for us to make proggy stuff with lots of details. It's kind of our comfort zone. and,
Okay.
and that is like, it's something we've been doing for so many years. So you just have a lot of instant thing that comes to your mind often when you've been working with it for so long. So some songs, of course, they took some time, but in general, like, especially like if you listen to Nighttime Disguise, for example, everybody know that it was a quite intuitive song because they could witness it in the studio, that it was intuitive, and that's probably of the more complex songs of the album. And when you hear the end there, for example, with all these brass arrangements and everything, I remember, like, I was at the cabin with my family, and I remember Vegard, or Ishan actually, we share the cabin together with, and he was going out on a cross country trip, and I remember I said, yeah, okay, I will come soon. I just need to quickly write a brass arrangement first, and I didn't know that it would. I was just planning to write something and then work on it later, but then suddenly just it came to me right away, and I finished that brass arrangement in, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. And
Wow.
and sometimes when you get in a flow, you just go for it and use all your experience and everything. But another time you struggle a lot. So it's just like either you become in a flow or not. But I think we just based this album so much on just leaning on our experience, so to speak, together, and trusting each other to. So whenever I went into the studio, I didn't need to hear Baard's drum parts first because I knew that he would nail it, for example. So it's just like a lot of these type of things that you suddenly don't need to double check anymore that you needed before, you know.
I see. I have two more questions regarding the songwriting, actually. Apart from Nighttime Disguise. First, I would say, after listening to the whole album a couple of times, I have the feeling that in a very, very positive way, you kind of found your formula and perfected it. And I had the feeling it's a little bit, like Distant Bells or Below, like very, very subtle and mellow beginnings, and then there's like a big explosion. And I had the feeling on Aphelion there's also a lot of the at the bottom kind of rhythmic intricacy when the explosion happens.
I think it also has to do with the albums being made very short time after one another. So you kind of, like, all our changes as a band has kind of happened gradually and not in a very planned way, but it usually happened by you go on tours, you go here and there, and then you kind of grow, I wouldn't say tired, but you become ready for new challenges, and you end up just searching for new things, and we didn't get that so much with Pitfalls, for example. So that's why I could say that, like, of course, I would say there was a bigger step from Malina to Pitfalls than it is from Pitfalls to Aphelion, but it just has to do with also, like, that thing that for us change has to come natural, So I definitely don't think I will find it very interesting to play exactly the same type of music as we do now in 10 years, for example. I would think I would find that very boring because I'm an adventurous person by nature, and I just get tired of doing the same thing for too long. But it was more to explore within that same thing, and we didn't really plan to do an album, so then we kind of just continued a bit where we left off, basically.
Yeah. I would absolutely agree. It's the logical next step from Pitfalls, and but there is a lot of experimentation to be found in the arrangement as well. And you already mentioned the brass section from the Blasemafian, which is very cool stuff. And but there's also some Robin licks and solos that were quite unexpected. So I was wondering when you were writing the songs, or some of the songs you started writing at home, if I'm not mistaken. So when you write the basics of the song at home, do you already have in mind that you want to let Robin loose on that one or on that particular part, or does it more happen when you arrange it together as a band?
It's such dependent on each song. Some songs I've written like more or less ready at home by myself, and people kind of have their parts to play, but it's becoming less and less common now that we play together for such a long time. I tend to prefer to just, instead of making riffs, I let the guitar players do riffs based on my overall composition. So it's a kind of a more free role than what it used to be. And for example, on the shadow side, if that's the one you're referring to with the guitar solo, it was that was started out as a completely different song on the Pitfalls album. It was a song made of only drums, synth bass, strings, and vocals. That actually ends up now being a bonus track on the album, but called the Prophecy to Trust. And that was the original song that later ended up becoming the shadow side. So we basically threw away the whole song, but we kept the drums because the drums sounded awesome on that song, and it's actually the song that we used to set the sound for the drums on the Pitfalls album. So the sound on the drums are just like, it's too good to throw away. And the drums is very kind of open and easy to make something out of. It's not so set in a way. So basically we built a whole new song on there, and then we just like, it was actually shorter than it's supposed to be, and then just like, maybe it's good to have a solo or something there. And I feel Robin is very good to find that balance in a solo where it's kind of nice and beautiful and catchy enough, but not too cheesy. So I feel he has always adding some kind of roughness to his solos, even though, of course, if he wanted to, he would be completely able to play kind of more Petrucci type of style, or like that. That's the type of guitarist he used to be back in the days, so in this other band. But it's like his style these days. It's like quite rough in his playing style, and is making beautiful melodies. So it's just like it's something that gradually happened. That just like, okay, I think it would be cool with a guitar solo here actually. So whenever we add the guitar solos, that we feel, okay, here there's a need for something extra. We're missing something here, and not like I feel the typical prog thing would be that, okay, we didn't have a guitar solo yet. Where should we put it? So it's just like, that's apologies in advance for that motorbike. I'm not in the forest, by the way, because I tried that a few times, and it's too much up and down, so I become too much
out of breath. Okay. So finishing up with the writing process, of course, Nighttime Disguise stands out. It was the fan involved song. Did it turn out anything as you expected it would turn out, or did you just didn't have any expectations?
I never have expectations in life in general anymore, because my expectations never do anything for the outcome of a situation anyway. So it's just like I just try to go in without expectations to almost everything to do. No positive, no negative expectations. Just like it will be like it will be, and we will do our best to make it as good as we can. And of course, I was excited because it's a new and different project, and of course, very random because every single fan has so different preferences that even like they maybe share some preferences, they don't share other preferences. So in the end, you will end up with just, I think we could have just pressed shuffle on the questions and we would have had as much logic in the answers, you know, because there's so many different opinions in the end. And that's kind of, so, but then we tried to, okay, we looked at it this way as parameters to work with. That's a big challenge because, of course, some people are saying that the fans helped us writing a song. I'm saying that the fans gave us a huge challenge writing a song based on quite restricted parameters.
Wow.
And that we still had to do it within our own taste, basically. That was the whole point. So you involve people in the process, but at the same time, you kind of manage to stay true to yourself and make result that you can actually stand for. And we thought that if we don't manage to make a result that we are proud of, we will just release it as a bonus track, as a fun experiment. And look how this ended up. But we ended up becoming really satisfied with the song, and it really has its own vibe. It would have never existed and never been written if we didn't do it this way, you know. So that just proves my point that to always be searching for new and different ways to work, it's great. We would never do that project again because now it's done. Now it's been now we've tried that, and there are other ways of experimenting and trying new things, you know. So it's just always great to go a bit outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. One quick question about the recording process. I'm just curious. What takes more time for you, recording the vocals or recording the synths and keyboard parts?
Oh, I would say vocals probably take 10 times longer for me, because on many parts there's many layers, etc. But also like you want to find that sweet spot between it's sounding good, but that it also sounds real in a way, and that's a really hard. Like you can, and especially when I work with David in Castillo in Sweden, we are usually like standing, like we can stand many hours extra for just that extra percentage, you know, to get exactly that thing that we want. So I'm not at all actually perfectionist, but I'm a person who kind of needs to feel, I feel it now, or I don't feel it. If I nail it on the first attempt, which sometimes happens, then it's just like, I don't see a need to do many more tries when I'm happy with how it is now. So it's just like, sometimes it can go really, really fast. But other times things can take time, and it's just, especially if it's very layered.
Yeah. I can't wait for the world to hear Aphelion. You're gonna do a live stream 2 days before the release. 2 live streams actually with for different time zones. It was amazing to see how you took advantage somehow of the weird situation with the pandemic and all, with your innovative ways of doing different live streams and all. You were one of the most active bands when it comes to that during the last 1.5 years. But after those 2 Aphelion live streams, hopefully there's going to be a tour. The dates are already announced. I think it's going to start on 3rd of December in Nijmegen in the Netherlands, and it's going to go until December 16th in Berlin, right?
We actually added one show in Oslo on December 1st. But things that's
and there's also 2 festival dates you have upcoming, right? In Finland this Friday, is that going ahead?
No, that Finland show has been postponed.
Okay, but then there's in October there's Ready for Prog. Is that still going ahead?
Yeah, for now. Let's see. Like, if we can play, we'll play, and if not, I guess it becomes postponed again too. But I at least believe in those 2 shows that we have in Norway. I believe they will happen. We have like one in Arendal in Norway, and we have one. And that's kind of regular shows. And we have one at the Carmageddon Arctic in late October.
Awesome. Yeah. Finally, it's looking pretty optimistic compared to a lot of other moments in the last 1.5 years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you live again. I have to let you go now, unfortunately, because I believe the next interviewer is waiting already. Thank you so much for
taking another one. Right. It was my pleasure, and hope to see you again on the road soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Einar, and take care, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. See you, man. Bye-bye.
Follow Leprous on their social medias everywhere. You'll also find all the links in the description, as always. Listen to their music on all the digital streaming platforms or pre-order Aphelion from their official OMA shop. Thank you for listening to the Prog Talks. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe or give us a review on the podcast provider of your choice. Until next time, stay safe and keep spreading that prog love.
The Prog Talks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik Reinås. Produced by Rune Belsvik Reinås, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munovitz. This was the Prog Talks by the Progspace. See you in a week.